Welcome to IQ Channel. Before she was known as a global humanitarian and award-winning filmmaker, Angelina Jolie was Hollywood's most unpredictable rebel, battling darkness, heartbreak, and self-doubt. This is the untold story of how she transformed pain into purpose, becoming a voice for millions and redefining what it means to be a star. Join us as we explore the remarkable journey of Angelina Jolie, from shadows to light. Angelina Jolie, A Life of Shadows and Light. Part 1. Born into fame, raised by heart. A birth in the spotlight. In the golden light of Los Angeles, on June 4, 1975, a girl was born who seemed destined for the screen. Her very name, Angelina Jolie Voight, carried the weight of Hollywood history. Her father, Jon Voight, had already etched his name into cinema, an Oscar-winning actor known for roles in Midnight Cowboy and Coming Home. Her mother, Marceline Bertrand, a striking woman with French-Canadian and Iroquois ancestry, had also pursued acting, though she had stepped away from her own rising career to raise a family. The world might have seen this child's arrival as the perfect Hollywood fairy tale. Two beautiful stars, a baby girl, a glamorous life ahead. But reality, as it often is in Tinseltown, was far more complicated. From her earliest moments, Angelina's life was shaped as much by absence as by presence, as much by longing as by love. A family divided. Before Angelina could walk, the marriage between Jon Voight and Marceline Bertrand began to crumble. Hollywood's pressure, Jon's infidelities, as Angelina would later describe them, and the restless, wandering nature of fame pulled the family apart. When Angelina was just 1 year old, Marceline packed up her children, Angelina and her older brother, James Haven, and left Jon behind. The split wasn't just physical. It cut deeply into Angelina's sense of identity. Even as a toddler, she would see her father's face on magazine covers and movie posters, yet rarely in the living room. That paradox, of being a part of someone's world yet feeling unseen, planted seeds of hurt that would flower later into both anger and independence. Marceline, a mother's quiet strength. Marceline Bertrand, by contrast, was a soft-spoken but fiercely protective mother. She nurtured her children with love deeper than Hollywood glitter could offer. Financially, life was more modest than outsiders might have guessed. The family lived at times in small apartments, Marceline making ends meet by working various jobs and receiving support from Jon Voight. Yet what Marceline lacked in wealth, she offered in warmth and culture. Nights were spent watching classic films, not as mere entertainment, but as shared ritual. Films were not just moving pictures. They were windows into other lives, other souls. Angelina learned early that storytelling could be a way to understand the world, and oneself.
Her mother's softness also gave Angelina a model of femininity that wasn't built on vanity, but on compassion. Marceline volunteered and cared deeply about human suffering, values that would later emerge powerfully in Angelina's own activism.
A child on the outside. Even as a young child, Angelina felt like an outsider among other children. Her striking looks, large eyes, wide mouth, pale skin, and dark hair made her noticeable, sometimes uncomfortably so. Kids teased her for her thin frame and her serious expression. "I was just odd," she would later recall. She developed a fascination for things others found macabre: knives, insects, and cemeteries. Far from a phase, these interests were a way for Angelina to explore themes of life, death, and pain, ideas she felt deeply even as a child. By age 6, Angelina's family had moved back to Los Angeles from New York, where Marceline had tried to build a quieter life away from Hollywood. In LA, Angelina's ties to her father became more complicated. Close in proximity, yet emotionally distant. Early steps on stage. At the age of 11, Angelina enrolled in the prestigious Lee Strasberg Theater Institute. This wasn't a casual after-school activity. Strasberg's method acting demanded raw honesty and deep emotional excavation, something Angelina, even as a preteen, embraced fully. On stage, she felt alive, shedding the shyness she carried at school. Her talent quickly became evident. She could tap into anger, sorrow, joy, drawing from wells most children didn't even know existed. Acting wasn't just play. It was survival, a place to put her pain. Yet, in the hallways of Beverly Hills High School, the applause didn't follow her. There, she was bullied for her appearance, her braces, glasses, and thrift store clothes. Other kids, from wealthy families, flaunted designer brands and mocked Angelina's unconventional style. It hurt, she admitted, but rather than conform, she doubled down on her uniqueness.
A complicated father.
Jon Voight's presence in Angelina's life was intermittent. When he did appear, it was often in grand gestures rather than quiet moments. Once he took Angelina and James to an awards show where flashbulbs lit the night. But as quickly as the red carpet ended, so did the closeness. The emotional distance wounded Angelina deeply. She wanted his attention not as a movie star, but as a father. Over time, her feelings hardened into resentment. Decades later, she would legally drop Voight from her name. Not out of rebellion, she said, but to define herself on her own terms. Ironically, it was Jon Voight's name that opened doors for her first film roles. This tension, between rejecting her father yet benefiting from his legacy, haunted Angelina through her early career.
Dark teenage years.
By 13, Angelina had left Strasbourg and transferred to another high school. These years were turbulent. She dyed her hair black, wore leather pants, and collected knives. Her fascination with darkness deepened into self-destructive behavior, self-harm, experimenting with drugs, and feeling alienated from the world. Angelina has spoken candidly about this period. She felt no hope, no connection, and believed she wouldn't live long. Cutting herself, she said, was a way to feel something real in a world that felt painfully fake. Yet even in darkness, there was a spark, a desire to make sense of her pain, to transform it. Acting, again, became her salvation. In front of a camera, the chaos made sense. She wasn't alone. She was part of a story.
A child on the outside.
Early steps on stage,